Good morning. So we're going to start working in our inquiry journal. You got your inquiry journal from when you picked up all your books. It looks like this. It's for history. So you should have two books, and you'll need them both. You'll have your inquiry journal, and you'll have your textbook, and they actually have matching covers. The textbook is really big, and the inquiry journal is consumable. Consumable means you can write in it. It belongs to you. The textbook, the hardcover, is not consumable, which means we have to give it back at the end of the year. If you'll turn to page 1, just like in all of our units in ELA and probably science and math, there's a big question that guides our instruction. And our big question, and I'm going to put this on the screen so we can do it together. Our big question that guides our instruction is, how do people adapt to their environment? So before we even consider the big question, we need to make sure we understand all of that vocabulary in the big question. So we have the word adapt, which, remember, we were talking about vocabulary in ELA class. This would just be academic vocabulary, not domain specific. How do people adapt or change to their environment? Environment is another academic, not domain specific vocabulary word. And we should be very familiar with environment from previous years. So what I want you to think about is, what are things that humans do even today? Right now in the world, we live in many different environments. What are some things that different groups have done to adapt to the environment that they live in right now? As you're thinking this, I want you to write down some questions that you have about how people adapt to their environment. As you can see on my screen, this is interactive, and as soon as we are connected, we will do these things online. But right now, I need you to do them in your book. And what you're going to do is come up with 3 questions that are in your head that make you wonder, relating to the question, how do people adapt to their environment? It can be any question that you have about adaptations to environments by human beings. That's all this lesson is. So now let's move on to the next, which is chapter 1, lesson 1 in your textbook. If you turn the page to page 2, it's the first humans. Now, in order to sorry, I'm having technical difficulties. In order to move on, you might need to pause this video, because what I need you to do right now is I need you to read lesson 1 to give you some background knowledge of what we're about to talk about in our inquiry journal. So if you could pause this and read lesson 1. If you need a help, there's videos of me reading the lesson to you, so you're more than welcome to have me read, and you can follow along. If there's some of the vocabulary seems a little difficult or strange to you, you can feel free to do that. So go ahead and pause the video now and read lesson 1. Okay, are we back? Now that we've read lesson 1, we're going to go into our inquiry journal, looking at pages 2 and 3. It says the first humans at the top of the page. You are to answer the questions, not all of them, so pay very careful attention. 1A, which is a comparing and contrasting question. 2A, which is citing evidence from the text. And also 4, which is citing evidence from the text. So the first question is, how are apes and monkeys alike, and how are they different? This is giving you just a small table. Actually, let me scroll down because I think I'm on the correct page. Okay, there we go. So I want you to write one piece of evidence. How are they alike? It goes in the middle. Remember, both have this. And how are they different? Exclusively monkeys have this characteristic, and exclusively apes have this characteristic. So that's what we're doing for this question. That is all you have to do. Again, if you've read the lesson 1, this is super easy. And if you have trouble, get the video and follow along as I read it. The next question you're going to look at is, the very top of page 3, which is citing textual evidence. And you guys know why I chose this, because that is exactly what we're working on. We're not going to be able to do paragraph numbers because we do not need to mark up our textbook with paragraph numbers, but you do need to write page numbers. So where do you get this evidence? On page blank of the textbook, we find, and you're going to list your information. And the question is, the brain size of hominins led to the development of the Homo species and the way it interacted with the environment. What evidence supports this? Super easy, right? And then scroll down to the bottom of the page, because the bottom of the page is your final question. And that is, which migration theory out of Africa or the multi-regional model do you most agree with and provide evidence to support your answer? There's no wrong answer here. So choose, when we were reading lesson 1, which migration theory do you like better? Do you like out of Africa better or the multi-regional model? So you tell me the one you like better, and then remember, you're gonna need at least 2 reasons. You're aping this answer. You're gonna answer, you're gonna prove with 2 pieces of evidence, and then you're gonna explain your evidence. Now, while we're not turning our journal in every single week or every single day, at the end of the chapter, you will be allowed to use the questions that the information you've gathered in your journal to answer questions on the quiz. So it is very, very important, trust me, the questions very much so match up, to make sure you do your inquiry journal every day. And we're going to be, of course, discussing it in our Zoom meeting. So I will see you in Zoom meeting, and I hope this helps. I hope you have a great day. Bye.